Welcome back to another wash and talk. First wash of the Tesla Model 3 today. So put about 1,500 Ks on this over the last 2 weeks and it's finally time for its
Why is it making such a noise?
It's keeping it at a optimal temperature in the cabin in case we decided to go for a quick drive.
It sounds like you got that air extractor fan on, you know, when you're frying up a big bit of
frying.
Yeah, like you're doing like a bit of steak in the kitchen.
The hood, the range hood.
It sounds like that. It's actually pretty loud.
So do you want to turn it off?
Yeah.
Turn it off. Chuck it in car wash mode too, eh?
Car wash mode?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I don't know. You go like, it's kind of like, hey Siri, but it's, hey Elon Musk. Turn me, oh, there we go.
Does it actually have car wash mode?
Yeah, actually. These new cars, too much technology.
How do you do it?
I think you go into vehicle, service, and then car wash mode. You found it?
Yeah, so it looks like you just go vehicle, service, and then pops up here, car wash mode.
Car wash mode, yep.
And then it says enter car wash mode.
Yep.
Car wash mode closes all windows, locks, charging ports, etc., and disables the windscreen wipers.
Yep.
So that's pretty good if you're like in an automatic car wash and things like that. Yeah.
That's what we want.
Car wash mode will exit if the vehicle speed exceeds 15 kilometers an hour.
Okay, well hopefully it's not.
Enter car wash mode. Saved.
Sweet.
Everything turned off.
Sweet.
Do you reckon it'll stop the noise?
I don't know, we'll find out. Car wash modes, we should have someone running around in a second with a BP squeegee, eh?
Yeah.
Starting to clean our window. Actually, and you can put these wipers, I found, into service mode as well.
Oh yeah?
I don't know what it does, I've never hit it, but the problem we got with these wipers is you can't, they're hitting the hood.
Service mode must allow you to pull it out and get it up, right?
So maybe we'll...
It's definitely calmed down the old extractor fan.
It has.
Right, let's wash. Do the rinse.
Get started. These wheels, there's a bit of, I think it's more grime than brake dust on there, right? The calipers are really clean.
Well, that's because you don't brake in this car, right?
No, you don't. I just drove 100k and maybe used the brakes half a dozen times.
Sweet.
So like we say every time, this is just brake buster straight up on the foam cannon. Your turn, Chief.
We're back to Fat Boy on no chair again. Gotta burn them calories, eh?
Usually having to use the the brush to get in all the lug nut areas, but there's obviously this cover here which is...
Oh, do that again?
Well, this is the cover. I don't want to pull it.
Oh, so the centre cap is
so
like
your centre cap like covers your lug nuts and everything. One way to keep it clean, though I don't know what it will end up being like behind that after 6 months or so.
Still, what is going to be really nice to clean these wheels is that you can actually get into the spokes with these brushes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's heaps of room in there.
So what have we got going on? Anything interesting?
What have we got going on? Well, obviously this. We introduced this in our last video. Own this now for maybe 2 weeks tomorrow. Put 1,500k on it so far, so I feel like I've had a fairly good chance to get used to it. And
you enjoying it?
What it's like to drive? Yeah, I am. I wouldn't say it surprised me, but I think just the way that this drives with your regen braking, I wouldn't say it's silent, but it's a really peaceful cabin to sit in. Like it doesn't feel like I've done a few road trips this week, it doesn't feel like you're using a whole lot of energy.
So do you think this car would be more of a really posh daily rather than the one and only car?
Do you know what, it's quite interesting. We've had a few comments on the channel, especially on that last video, just saying, hey look, I'd love to try one of these one day, or I'd love to own one, but it couldn't be my only car or my daily driver. And I think after the first week of ownership, for me, I don't see why not. You know, I understand there's range anxiety that people have, going, oh, well, it's electric, and what if I run out of battery, or how, you know, that concern, but, you know, you don't pull out of your garage every morning with a full tank of petrol. That just happened miraculously overnight. Whereas every morning...
No, but I can see why, because I can go to the petrol station.
You can.
I can get, you know.
You can, but I mean, I went to the supercharger in Hamilton last week.
Yeah.
And 30 minutes, full charge, ready to go. Didn't even have enough time to, you know, have a decent lunch. So yeah, 30 minutes versus your 3 or 4 minutes at the petrol station's a bit different, but I think with a car like this, you just plan a little bit differently.
Well, I suppose it's just a bit new, right? So yeah, fueling up petrol for the first time was also probably a bit new.
I think where you're probably going to have that anxiety with a car like this is, I think first of all, when you're going to unfamiliar places, so you're not too sure where your chargers are. Although in the car, it tells you, you know, you click on the screen, find a charger, and it shows you all of the chargers.
Do you find that there's a bit of competitive side to having to sit and wait for a charger?
Well, I haven't had to wait yet.
Okay.
One of the things that I like in the system is if you click on your screen that you're looking for a charger and you click on Tesla Supercharger, it actually shows. So the one in Hamilton has 4 stalls.
Yeah.
And when we clicked on it, it says 4 stalls, 3 currently available. So it knows how many cars are plugged in there.
So if there was like another one around the corner, you could then shoot around and charge there.
You're not going to go off the beaten track, right, to go and look for a charger to find out that they're all full when you're there. But I think that probably comes into point number 2. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of these on the road here yet, so I don't know what the charging infrastructure is like once there are. Are they going to add more chargers?
Well, you would like to hope that as more chargers.
I'd like to think so. I haven't encountered it yet, but I mean, we're 2 weeks in, right? So I don't think you can make a judgment call on how easy it is to live in terms of the charging with that. But the one thing that I do like is that pull into the garage in the afternoon or the evening, plug it in, wake up the next morning, you've got a full charge ready to go. It's quite nice. There we go, I need a heat pump again.
Is it back on?
Yeah. It's an interesting wheel, eh? There's like a lip on the inside. Have you noticed that? When you get this in,
oh, there is.
There's like a lip, so you don't get quite a
yeah, is that like for water? Does water get?
I don't know. There's like a channel. That'll be quite interesting when these wheels come off in the in the detail series to see what that looks like internally.
And I wonder what the point is. There must be some sort of design feature to the wheel to have it there. It's almost like a little rain gutter.
I wonder if it's aerodynamics. You know how the stock wheel has that aero cover?
Well,
I don't know. It's a bit odd.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed that before.
I just noticed it when I was trying to pull this brush out. It's a little bit awkward.
And have you missed not having to change gears or listen to an exhaust note or anything like that?
I've definitely missed the STI, but it's been a solid 3.5 months since I've had that car.
Well, because you're waiting for this for delivery, so you lost that.
It wasn't, you know, going straight from one to the other.
Yeah.
So I've had a wee while to wean myself off it. But I mean, again, people say that the lack of driving engagement is something that would put them off having this car. I haven't really experienced that yet. I think the instant torque make it quite fun still. That's probably still a novelty for me.
Yeah, that will probably wear off because it's not overly quick.
No, it's not quick. It's not quick from 0 to 100, but it's quick to pull from 80 to 100 or
that instant,
overtaking type manoeuvres, right? That's where it feels quick. It's crazy to think that this is the slow Tesla and there's one that's 3 times as quick. That blows my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I missed the.
You missed the engagement, changing gears, etc.
Not as much as I thought I would at this early stage, but I think if you ask me that question again in a few months' time, I may miss it more.
Once the novelty of this wears off?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Here's a brake buster.
Just on the inside of that bucket there?
Oh, right there. Have a guess at what PSI these tyres run at?
45.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're into it.
Is it?
It is. 44, I think.
44 PSI?
I'm pretty sure it's 44 PSI. And obviously that's for aerodynamics, right? But it'd be quite interesting to know if I was to bring it down to like a 38 or a 39, how the ride would change. And how much range you'd lose versus how much more comfort you've got.
Will it tell you, hey, your PSI isn't running right, and probably switch off on you?
TPMS will give you an alert, but I think there is a way to override it and set a different PSI as your default.
Be interesting to see if you dropped the PSI if you got lower range, which you probably would.
Thing is, I'm not running this from 100 to 0, you know. Most normal days would be running this battery down to 75, 80%.
What's it like charging at home on the normal, so you can buy this a standard charger, plug it into the wall stand, like on a standard plug. What is that like? Is that quite frustrating? Is it fast or?
It's not fast, but well, that's the way I'm charging primarily at the moment. We've done the one supercharge. I've used destination chargers a few times, which are pretty quick. But basically, we've got 240 volt plugs here in New Zealand. So if I plug in, it charges at about 2 kilowatts per hour.
And how many kilowatts do you need to charge?
I think the battery, you put me on the spot here, I think the battery's somewhere in the 50 to 60 range.
So it's going to take a couple of hours to charge just on a normal home charge.
More than a couple of hours.
Right.
So a supercharge for this charges at 130 to 150 kilowatts per hour. A destination charge that I've used, a couple have been about 11 kilowatts.
Right.
The one down here is throttled to 7, and if I'm plugged in at home, it's 2.
Okay.
So generally,
how do you upgrade your house to be a bit quicker then?
So you can buy the Tesla, just the wall charger. It's about $1,000 plus electrical to get that done. And then that's supposedly meant to add, I'm not sure the kilowatts, but it's meant to add about 71 kilometers per hour of charge to the battery.
So you get a bit quicker.
Oh, you get way quicker on that versus the plug at the moment.
So that's probably what you should do, right?
I think that's the
install the I guess it's like a module, right? You install it on the wall.
It's the same one that you'd see at like the mall car parks. You go and plug that in the wall. But I haven't found this to run too bad, right? If I'm only running this battery down to 60% overnight, and generally that's pretty low, right? It's kept more around the 75 to 80. Plug it in, then wake up in the morning.
You probably are being alright at home. But if you were doing longer trips regularly, then I could see why you'd need for that.
If I've gone for a road trip today, run this battery down to 20 or 30% and want to do the same tomorrow, I need a faster charger, so I'll either need to stop at a supercharger, and there's none in our city. Have to travel out of town. Or I'd need that faster wall charger. Or I'd need to go sit at a hotel in town or a bar that has a faster charger, right? But
this is cutting edge. This is pretty new around here. Teslas are pretty new generally, so I can see where the world's going.
Absolutely.
In terms of getting this sort of squared away, right?
And I think it comes down to the fact that, right, you start every day at 100. So if you're doing lots of road trips back to back, you're on the road every day, you're going to want to find something faster to charge. But so far, so good. So not a little bit different. We're going back to the old staple.
So we've gone through, we've worked out the soaps that we want. This here is just a bit of hyperwash in here. I put 150 in.
150 ml soap, 600 water?
600 water, so we've got 750 in the foam can in there. And we're just blowing through hyperwash. You've got almost a gallon of hyperwash there.
3/4 a gallon there that we want to use.
But don't you have another bottle of it?
No, that's it.
Oh, that's it.
That's the last of the hyperwash. So we're trying to use this up. It's not a bad soap, but it's hyper concentrated, right? So we find that in a lot of these areas of the car, it reactivates, and you're trying to rinse the car for way too long versus some of the other soaps.
Well, what happens is you go to dry the car, you got you're blowing with the leaf blower,
that's another
and
one.
It bubbles up, and then it's sort of, you get this sort of spider web of foam right across the car.
You're just chasing yourself with it, aren't you? So
we're going to use this all up. I've got a few dribs and drabs of other soaps there, and then
I'm looking forward to placing an order for some more soap. Exciting.
Foam it down.
Do you know what's quite nice? I think one of the areas, bit of a spillage, one of the areas where I think you tend to push down the most and put the most pressure on the car would be the roof and the hood. This is just glass all the way.
Glass. So you're not going to have that area of scratching.
No, you're not. It's going to be
I didn't think about that.
I think those wipers are going to be the only thing that's going to be a bit of a pain. We'll have to figure out what service mode is. And I don't know why car wash mode doesn't put it into...
like a windscreen wiper service mode too.
Yeah.
Well, because that makes sense, because if you're one of those sort of electronic car washes, you know, where you drive through and you put 20 bucks in.
Yeah.
If that had come up and flicked up, then those like blade things...
you wouldn't want that.
It would flick them up, so I guess that's why they lock them.
We might have to flick it into... We'll finish foaming it and then we'll figure out how to do that. How thick is that foam?
I think that probably dilution's probably a bit too much for
It is, it's just sitting.
pipe wash.
But, I mean, there's no bead maker or any protection on here. Whoa, no.
Oh no. You're doing a bit of a trick shot with the phone.
The in between the legs trick shot. Gee whiz. Got ya! And as you can see there, we never used the whole bottle.
No, we could probably come down a bit as well.
We probably could save a bit of product.
And I just dash the rest of it in there.
That's the way, get a bit more soap. But yeah, you could probably bring it down to like 100 mils of soap, I think. But I mean, you're nickel and diming there, aren't you?
Nickel and diming.
Yeah, like trying to save cash.
Yeah, trying to save cash. This soap's so cheap, I don't know what you're trying to save. So first wash with this car, I feel a bit uneasy about it because, you know, when you've washed the car a couple of times, you know the process, you know where to start. You can just chat away, you know, but
so far this has been quite easy though, right? The wheels were quite
nice.
Great.
Yep.
There's the wheels on the WRX that is now gone. That was a nightmare. You were spending at least double what we did doing these.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to do here because you can't get under there.
No, you can't. Shall I see if we can put it into...
No, don't try now.
Okay, let's just wipe over them. We'll get soap everywhere.
So we thought that buying the new camera that we're filming on right now, that we could get away with active stabilization and that we could just hold it and we would be good, right? But that active stabilization seems to crop our shot way too much.
Yeah, we're onto video. This is probably the third or fourth video we filmed on this camera, and we're on a tripod right now. And when it's on the tripod, it's fantastic. There's no issue, obviously.
Oh, I didn't put any soap on this.
You've no soap?
No soap.
Doing some dry wipes.
Dry wiping.
Yeah? Not your car, eh? Who cares?
Yeah, not my car, don't worry about that.
Who cares? Yeah, I think that's... we thought the in-camera stabilization would be enough. Obviously, we've been filming on a... well, not obviously, but we've been filming on an iPhone with a DJI Osmo mobile, which has been our stabilizer, which has helped us get some really... I'd like to think it's some really stable quality footage for what we were filming on. But you can't handhold this and expect to get the same results.
No, we thought that we could use a tripod and hold the tripod out like that, and having that little bit of extra weight there would help stabilize the shot, and it really hasn't. So the last couple of videos have been a bit sort of shaky, and we're just going to buy a gimbal, aren't we?
I think we're going to splash
out on a proper gimbal.
There's a couple on the market that you can get. Obviously, market leader, I think, in most things, gimbal or stable related would be DJI with their drones and their Ronin series.
I think that's where we just go.
And we looked at the other one. What's that other brand? The Crane.
Crane.
Is Crane the brand or Crane the product?
I don't know.
Anyways, there's another one, but I think we're going to...
Your car is filthy, man.
Yeah, it's pretty dirty, eh?
You're going to have to wash twice.
I think we're going to just end up splashing out on the Ronin. We're not really splashing out. We're going to invest our YouTube earnings over the next couple of months into more camera gear to hopefully make even better quality videos, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. This is absolutely filthy.
That's all tar on there.
Is that tar at the bottom?
You've got so much tar on the bottom of this.
Wonder where I've driven.
So all that, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, probably not. But
it's the same on the other side, yeah.
You can feel it, it's all tar.
So I guess we've got a couple of options here. We can hit it with some Tar-X now, loosen it up, or leave it and deal with it in the decon stage of the detail series.
That's really noticeable. I've never had so much tar on a car like that before.
I've driven through a lot of roadworks this week.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. Obviously doesn't help.
Far out.
What we might do, we might rinse it off and then we might hit it with some Tar-X, agitate it a little bit down there and then
see how you get on.
Go again.
That might be a good idea.
Just to loosen it a bit. I'm not going to try and get it all off right now. We'll catch it in the detail series.
And so once we've got this camera stabilization thing sorted, because when you're trying to film, like when we're doing like the Ryobi tool videos and things like that, there's a lot of movement. We want to try and get the right shots for you guys. It's hard to hold the camera stable, being able to talk and get all the shots. So
this is easy, right? Doing what we're doing right now when it's on a
tripod.
When it's on tripod, but a lot of our footage isn't on tripod. You know, this is just our wash and talk, right? Where we do set it up and kind of just forget about it, but we don't want that to become our norm. and we don't want shaky footage to become our norm either. And some YouTubers get away with it really well, right?
Yeah, sort of if you're doing more vlog style, which we're trying to achieve, but you can get away with more of that shaky camera. But we just want to try and make nice content, right? And nice content comes with having a nice camera that's hopefully in focus a lot of the time.
Well, you don't want to feel like you're
you know,
you don't want to feel like you're passing out or going for a jog when you're watching content, right? You want it to be easy on your eyes.
And so when we bought this camera, it doesn't come with a case or anything like that, so we have been shopping for cases, and we do have a couple of options there. We've been looking at the Pelican case.
Yep, I think that's going to be the goer. What we want is something that's
because
really...
that Pelican case comes with like a insert foam inlay type thing where you can cut out the shape of the camera, and then you could just insert it in rather than it being a bag, which I think is quite a nice little option.
But I mean, we've been pretty open, right, to looking at other options, and we've even considered trying to create our own kit with some of the Yeti products.
Yeah, so you looked at a Yeti. Did you look at a Yeti today?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but it's I think it's the Yeti Go Box 30. Yeah. Which could be quite interesting if you could put your own foam in it. I think it's going to be a little too much work for what we're after right now, but you know, we don't necessarily want to go down to the camera store and buy the first thing off the shelf. We want to make sure that we're
And we don't want to buy a bag. I don't think we want a backpack or a, you know, like a camera bag, that one of those Logitech camera bags. We sort of want something a bit more fit for purpose, right?
Yeah. So I think we are going to end up with the Pelican case, at least as a starter point to cart our stuff around, because you don't want to see what we're carting it around in at the moment. I think it's like a $3 or $4 little plastic container from Kmart, isn't it?
With a little lid and a grill and
it's not the most sophisticated setup. We look pretty amateur. We are amateur, but it's not great. Yeah, so what we're looking at getting is the Ronin SC2. It's the one, isn't it?
I think so. They just recently changed their names of the smaller gimbals, haven't they?
Yeah, so we're going to kind of get the entry-level gimbal. I mean, it's not entry-level in terms of cost, I think, relative to what our investment currently is in camera gear, but I think it's going to make all the difference in our content to make sure that we can keep
Well,
producing.
we're sort of more interested in we've bought a camera with an interchangeable lens.
Correct.
So we can then buy a better lens, which can then go on a better body of a camera. With the gimbal, we buy a good gimbal, which means that we can then use that on the next camera. So it's not like
it's not disposable, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So and I think that's the better version of investment, sort of planning for the future, right?
Yeah, I think so, because that's something that we'll keep for a number of years. I mean, DJI are great though. They're continually improving their products and releasing new ones. So in 2 years' time, there'll be something better, newer, but I think it gives us a really good baseline to start with this camera setup.
So I see you've got personalised plate on here.
Yeah, it was the first edition, I guess. Get the OG plate on there, so OG EV. It's the OG for Omni Garage. Space, yeah, space is key on this one. So the last plate was OG STI. And gee, the amount of people, what's OGSTI? What's OGSTI?
Yeah, so I think it's better that you've got a gap there. OG gap EV.
Yeah. I'm going over a few spots a couple of times, because there's quite a bit of...
You got quite a bit of muck on here.
Yeah, it is.
So much tar.
Yeah, there's an insane amount of tar on here. I reckon those roadworks I drove through, especially on a hot day.
I've driven through roadworks before.
Yeah.
I had that car for 5 years before I did any decon tar removal to it.
You didn't even know about detailing though. You did a dry wipe 3000 in the underground garage where it was dark.
Dry wipe 3000.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we, in Harry Potter or something?
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, and there was hardly any tar. Well, there was a bit of tar, but not.
You wouldn't know what tar looked like.
You got enough tar here to build your own road.
Yeah, shall we? We can invest that. We might be able to get the DJI. The next Ronin.
Yeah, the next one.
Gee whiz.
I reckon you rinse it down and we'll get a bit of Tarex on there.
We'll rinse it down, Tarex, give it another wipe, I think, another rinse.
Yeah.
At least pull some of it off.
Yep.
Off to do the detailing dishes, are we?
Off to do the detailing dishes. You know it. We need to work on getting some better grit guards, because
yeah, we do.
We've been using these grit guards, but they don't fit that well in this bucket.
That's not a real grit guard. That's a knockoff one. The genuine grit guards in those two buckets.
Right, and they just...
I don't think, is it? No, I lie. That is a grit guard. They're all genuine grit guards. I just bought that from someone else, so.
They do make that other one, what's it called?
Detail guards?
Detail guards.
And it goes like,
yeah, but nice. They have like this, rubber, so this rubber thing comes down like that, and it's got like padding on there, and I wonder if we could squeeze that into the bottom of this bucket.
Because I want that to jam into the bottom of the bucket and not come out.
Yeah, if you.
Yeah, I love the bucket setup. We just need better grit guards.
Yeah.
Grit guards, new stickers. We'll have a great bucket setup. Oh, dollies.
And a dolly.
We need some dollies.
Yeah.
So we've just hit this with some Tarex, and look at the runoff. So I must have driven through some road that just had absolutely, I don't know, it's terrible. But the great thing about that Tarex product is straight away it starts to run, causes the tar to, I guess, effectively bleed. So we'll be able to rinse some of that off and it will come off, and if not, you can lightly agitate it with your microfiber wash mitt.
Should I give it a rinse and see if we can get rid of it?
Yeah, let's give it a rinse, we'll see what comes off. This side was done first, so let's spray that off.
Got rid of some of it. I think you probably want to do a little bit of agitation if you're going to get more of it off.
That's quite heavy at the bottom still, right? So we probably want to use the microfiber mitt and just really gently agitate that. But some of the smaller spots up the door panel there came off quite easy. So we'll probably hit this again, get that microfiber out, and just tidy this up a little bit. We don't need to get it perfect because we'll deal with this in the decontamination stage, but we'll try and tidy this up a little bit for the interim.
Rocking like rock and roll on a Saturday night.
Yeah,
we're rocking.
Right, time for some bead maker, and we managed to get this a lot more dry than the previous wash and torque we did on the MG, which should make this a whole lot easier.
Yeah, and you got that tar off. Well, you didn't get it all off.
It didn't all come off, but I think mine was better than what it started at, and I didn't want to start wiping too hard at it when I know that we have a decon coming up, and we'll probably there'll be more to remove at that point.
Yeah,
so it's I
think better. So you sprayed a bit of Tarex on there, gave it a rinse.
Yep.
Rinsed it, got a little bit off it as you saw, and then we just did a little bit of agitation with some more Tarex.
Yep, another rinse again.
And I think it came out pretty good for a little effort.
I'm pretty happy. Do you want to spray that whole roof? Save us getting overspray. It's not really a roof, is it? It's like half the car.
Far out. This is going to be quite nice once you finally coat the...
Oh yeah, it'll be really easy, right? Don't know where to start. I'll start here. It's a little bit warmer tonight, which should mean that we don't get the that kind of dew effect as well while we're going through this drying process.
Yeah, because it tends to make drying the roof, I find, the hardest.
Gee, it just goes forever and ever, this glass. New iPhone. Yeah. Getting one? Someone lets me buy one. Seeing someone's not my wife. Can't get a shop to sell me one, eh?
So Glenn came around the other day. We're having a yarn, and
show the people.
Show the people.
Show the people.
Nah, I don't have the case on it.
Yeah, of course you don't, because you've lost it somewhere along your travels.
So I have an iPhone 7. Yeah, iPhone 7.
The problem is not the iPhone 7. Your iPhone 7 is fine. It's good. It's not great.
I'm going to go inside and get the case.
Get the case.
You keep drying, man.
I will. There's a lot to dry. Basically, Glenn's had this iPhone 7 since iPhone 7s were a thing, and had this case. And I knew that this case is the Perrin case because he's had this big Perrin sticker on it. Anyways, this case has been on his phone for as long as I've known him, and it just keeps getting looser and looser and looser. And basically what he does is he plays with this case while he's at work and peels the edge, and it's just turned into the world's loosest case, basically. I don't even know how he takes phone calls without having the phone fall out of it. It's an embarrassment to...
So this was like $100 case when I got iPhone 7.
Whoop-de-doo.
And it had like a really cool, it's kind of like a honeycomb. So here it is, here's the case. Check that out. So this had a really hard sort of honeycomb back to it, but as time goes on, I peeled the honeycomb off, and Check it out. It's not focusing very well. But, and it doesn't really hold the phone very well. So here's the phone. iPhone 7. Slip it in.
Show you how this works. Hello there. Hello there. And the phone just, look at it. That is an embarrassment.
Such
To the channel, to you, to your family, to your mum, your dad. Hey,
Don't be hating on it.
terrible.
So anyway, you came around the other night and you were going through there's some deal that's going on, you know.
2 degrees. 2 degrees here in New Zealand, mobile provider, have a really good deal going on at the moment, basically. It's buy an iPhone 13 Pro as a new customer, you get $600 off your purchase price. Pretty awesome deal, really. I don't qualify, I'm an existing customer.
So I qualify. You know what? I get $104 or something.
Trade in.
Trade in for that phone.
Do you have to trade in your case as well?
No, the case is worth too much, man.
Yeah, are you gonna frame it?
So yeah, I've got the new iPhone 13 Pro, 128 gig, is it? See, I don't even care. I don't even care about new phones, but I'm doing it because
No. You're excited about your new phone. If you were doing it for me, you would have just bought a new case. You've got some selfish reasons here too, mate.
So I'm doing it for Glenn because, you know, he's disgusted by it. So 128 gig, and I've got it coming in the graphite
colour. I think that's
graphite black colour, which is pretty much the same as the colour I've already got.
Where's the big maker?
And just over there. And I'm gonna do that leather, the Apple MagSafe leather case.
Leather case, yeah.
You think it's a good combo?
Yeah. I mean, that's the combo I want. I want graphite. I want the leather case.
So the other night, we're going out for dinner actually. Picked this guy up, we're going out for dinner. And you're feeling a little missed out, eh? A little bit sad?
Well, everyone's ordering a new phone. And I'm trying to buy a phone now. I've got an iPhone. I had an iPhone 10 and the screen, I don't know what happened to it, but the screen got all these lines through it and I don't remember dropping it. I must have.
You must have dropped it.
I must have. But anyways,
because you didn't have a cool case on it like mine. See, when I drop it, it hits and it bounces out of the case like a little shock absorber.
Bounces bad?
Yeah.
That's the problem I didn't have the fiddle case. So I changed my phone in one of the lockdowns last year. I just bought the cheapest one.
And that's what that was a good decision because that's what we were using to film.
It was. So it was pretty important, right? It was a business thing, but I bought just the iPhone SE, the 2020 version. And what I'm finding now is the battery life is it's atrocious. It's not good because I mean we use that to film. We would run that battery down and recharge and run down and recharge. It was more than just a phone, right? It was our main camera on the channel.
And so, yep, so how are you struggling to buy one? What's the go?
Well, the problem is everyone wants a new customer, right? So places have the phone in stock, but the problem is no one will sell it. So I walk into the shop, it's, hey, do you have the iPhone 13 Pro? Yeah, we do, we've got this variant, great, cool. Can I pay cash for it? No, sir. Well, how do I buy it? Well, you need to sign up to a plan and you can actually have the phone 36 months interest-free, $29 today, the rest over 3 years, interest-free.
Yeah, so that's kind of like where I am.
That's exactly where you are, yeah. But I don't want to change my provider. I want to pay cash and I want it now.
Which is quite funny. So you can pay cash upfront for a phone and no one wants to take the money off you.
Exactly. But they'll take it interest-free over 3 years. But the hook is, right, the plan. They want me on the plan.
The hook is the plan because they get their money for the phone plus they get all that extra money off you from the plan.
Correct. So I'm just going to have to order from Apple directly, which is what I should have done initially. But I might wait until yours shows up, and it's going to be way better than what I've got at the moment. I think the key on that camera is and how it relates to the channel really is the fact that it's got three cameras in it. We've got the wide angle as well, which is going to be really handy for some in-car footage.
Yeah, so I think we're going to try and do a mount type situation, mount it in the car, see how we get on. Because this car's all about in-car footage. I mean, we're not going to be doing oil changes or anything like this and this. So this is going to be driving experience type videos, yeah?
Correct. So we want to get some good in-car footage. So I think a combination of the new iPhone 13 Pro with the haziness there. The iPhone 13 Pro with the wide camera, and then our good mate Jeremy. He has a new GoPro what is it, GoPro Hero 10?
Well, he doesn't know this at the moment.
He doesn't, but
we're going to hit him up to see if we can borrow it.
yeah. Can we please borrow it? Just borrow.
Just borrow.
Just for some content. So that's the plan, I think. We'll try and do some in-car footage as well. Give us a bit more variety as to what we put on the channel. Give you an excuse to buy a new iPhone, apart from that atrocious case.
And for me, coming from an iPhone 7 to an iPhone 13 Pro, whatever it is,
it's going to be
a huge upgrade. Whereas going for you from a, what are you, 10?
Well, I was a 10 and then I did the downgrade, right? So I went to an iPhone SE, just the entry-level cheap phone. So it'll be a huge upgrade for me as well. Bigger phone, better battery, camera
Whereas for
system.
people who have already got the iPhone 12, to go to a 13, probably not so much. You know, there's a few little nice bits, your camera, etc., but you're probably not going to notice too much different.
I think the key is with the iPhone and the whole Apple ecosystem is you buy a phone every year, right?
Yeah.
Because
you sell the old one,
yep.
You lose a couple $100,
yep.
And you get the new one.
Think about it, your phone, and I'm sure your phone as well at home, is one of your most used possessions in your life, right? You're using it for everything.
Yeah.
Multiple hours a day. So to have the best, it's not necessarily a waste, I think. Because
but what happens is if you don't do that, you then have your phone for 6 years or however many years it is, and then you've got to come up with $1,700.
Well, exactly, because your value's now at what, like $100.
So that makes the entry point a lot steeper, right?
Yeah. So I think the key is you buy a phone and you just wear a few $100 loss every year, keep up latest and greatest, given it's something that you spend so much time on. So we'll see this time next year, September every year, iPhone month. You know when to expect it to save you a couple of $100 for your new phone from.
Have we used all your B-Maker towels?
Yep.
Oh no.
I'm trying to get some bugs off the front here. This is really interesting, eh? The huge front bumper.
Yep.
No holes, no intercooler, or no radiator.
So that's basically all blocked.
It's just catching everything. And those bugs would still be hitting you any other car.
Yeah, well they would be going through
your intercooler,
or
sticking
onto your intercooler or radiator, depending on which way around you are. And you don't really notice it, but here you've got pretty much all blanking there because you don't need to cool.
No, you don't.
So yeah, you are going to notice all those bugs, which is something I hadn't really thought about before. But that does make sense, eh?
So thinking tech as well, the other thing we've been discussing a lot lately is just the way we edit videos on the channel. So right now we're using an iPad Pro 2020 version, and we do everything in LumaFusion. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about editing on the iPad is using the Apple Pencil, and the fact that you can manipulate things with your hands. You feel really part of the editing. So we've never done anything in Final Cut or anything on the laptop, but you've got a very aging MacBook Pro, don't you? That's just there's no point even trying Final Cut on there.
I think you also need something a bit more stout to be able to use that, right? Can you even get Final Cut on the iPad?
No, there's no Final Cut on the iPad. LumaFusion's awesome though. Like, I've had no issues at all with LumaFusion for the editing that we've done. I don't feel like we're limited in what we're doing. But I think that's something that we probably need to explore at some point, is either do we get another iPad and do we just go all in on the iPad editing, or do we look at adding a MacBook Pro as well, or an iMac or something, and
I think eventually we will get there. I think that's probably like the ultimate solution. Would you agree?
I would. Our content's not necessarily sophisticated in terms of the editing that we do. We don't have animations. We don't have, we don't have a whole lot going on in our edits. That's why it's kind of been low on the priority list to look at that, but I think that's something for the future as well for us. But I see a lot of YouTubers are starting to play with LumaFusion, and
I would like to use, I think I'd like to have a laptop. Where's the
B-Maker's around here.
I think I'd like to use the laptop for editing and use Final Cut, because I also want to use Photoshop for editing photos for Instagram, Facebook, etc.
There's a really good app on the iPad called Affinity Photo, which is like Photoshop, but you like to use the best, right? You don't want the knockoff version. You want the You want the real.
I don't know. I just want to do it do things properly. I mean, here I am getting the latest iPhone when I've been holding off for the last 7 odd years. But I think that's something that we'll eventually get to as time goes on, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the current system that we've got right now, the iPad, you know, it's serving us well. I don't think we could change it anytime soon, but there's a lot we want to do, a lot we want to buy, and it all kind of comes back to the fact that we want to make better videos, right? There's just only so much that we can do at once. So how are you finding drying this car now?
This car is easier to dry than the MG the other day.
Yeah, overall wash experience?
To be honest with you, it's really easy to clean. It's pretty simple lines.
Yeah.
There's no real body kit, big plastic vents, etc. that can be quite hard to wash and dry. The wheels were pretty simple.
Yeah.
The glass roof makes it super easy. I think this is compared to that blue car over there, I think this car's easier.
This is an easy wash, and I think this will be so much easier once it's coated, especially the glass.
And I think even from a detail series, you know, polishing this car, these things here are all quite big and square. So you could do panel there, that there's quite square. There's not much change of contour. It's pretty, you know, square, square, square. Makes sense?
Yeah.
It's not curvy like some other cars.
And there's a lot of glass too, so you should be able to power through the glass fairly quickly, leaving not a whole lot to do, right? Because that's the painful part of doing a detail for me, is just the awkward angles that you've got to get to be up on top polishing as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to make things a whole lot easier.
And typically when you're up quite high, you're pushing harder down here on the roof, but this doesn't matter in this car because it's all glass.
Yeah, I'm stoked at the wash experience of this versus the STI.
I think it's just
so much
partly
easier.
the wheels, but I mean you can change those. So that
yeah, it's definitely easier. I think it's just getting rid of the spoiler and the scoop and all of that stuff. I think that's what makes it a bit different.
And what will make this a bit easier is this hasn't got that sort of pearl fleck in it like the STI did. This is just almost plain white.
Just like a flat paint, isn't it?
Yeah. So that'll make it easier to correct out because those flecks would sort of can hide a lot of the scratches.
I'm a bit concerned about how the paint will hold up, especially on the front of this. But I don't really
Especially that bumper. That bumper is pretty big, it's pretty solid, it's taken a lot of hit there.
Yeah, I mean the alternative is, right, go and get some PPF on it. But it's a PPF front bumper, we're probably looking at $1,000, maybe $1,500 to do some of the front end. And I don't know if it's really worth it to have plastic all over the front of the car. Is it better to just go and get a respray in 2-3 years' time?
Probably.
Given it's not I would like to think it's not a difficult paint to paint match because there's no flick to it.
Who knows? But all in all, I think this was a pretty easy car for the first wash. What do you think?
It's odd, eh? No exhaust.
Yeah.
No exhaust to clean.
No exhaust down here.
Gee whiz. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the process on this, and I just can't wait to get these cars coated.
Right, that's pretty much it all dry, yeah?
Pretty much. Tiny bit left to go here.
And we've got the little wing mirror dribbling here.
Do we?
Yeah.
Where's it coming from? I think the interesting piece on this car, when you're washing, is going to be this. When you go to open your door, because you probably want to do inside these door handles.
Yeah.
So you can do this, as soon as your door opens, the glass goes down. And
which means you're going to get a bit of water in there.
To close it, you're going to get this.
Gotcha, yeah, you get a bit of smudging, water smudge.
So I wonder if you just don't want to touch it for a while afterward, or how you deal with door jams and the like. Yeah, we didn't actually wash door jams today. They're pretty filthy. That was a bit of a mistake, wasn't it?
Yeah, well I also don't know how well it's going to work with that window opening and closing.
No. Oh well, we might figure out how we deal with this. Just a bit of a dry wipe. It's not really a dry wipe, is it? Bit of bead maker.
Yeah, that's when you have a door jam towel, right?
Yeah.
Which I do have. Do you want to use that now?
Yeah, I think so. Let's just hit these door jams.
Purple door jam towel.
Yep.
First wipe, second wipe. I mean, this isn't caked on in here, it should just wipe off.
And the key is, if you're forgetting this kind of area as well, to just do wipes in one angle, or not one angle, one direction, flip the towel over. You don't want to be dragging that dirt back and forth. Normally...
And if you maintain it and you do this regularly, these should be really easy to...
They should be. We just forgot in our process today somehow to open the doors and just give it a little wipe. That's normally the process that we take, but... New territory, right? New car. Getting used to all the different intricacies.
There you are, happy days.
How easy is that?
That's quite nice how they've put that little Model S.
Yeah, you know what's quite cool as well? You can buy from Tesla an accessory where you can swap that out with an illuminated one. So you open the door and it glows.
That would look quite nice.
I've got it on my wish list.
On your wish list?
It's on the wish list.
I can't imagine that comes cheap though.
No, I think it was a fair few $100s. It's not actually showing on the Tesla website in New Zealand either, it's showing in Australia. So it's kind of like that Bunnings shelf, right? These those products that you can get in some countries,
and not in others.
Yeah, which is frustrating. So I'm sure we could find a way to get them here, and maybe that's something that we do at some point, but it's not quite as easy as just hitting buy now right now. All right, so down to the final stage. Normally what we do is spray the wheels down with Bead Maker and give those a bit of a dry at the same time. I've been a bit lazy today. We're ticking on in the evening, and these wheels will come off at some point soon as well. Part of the detail series when they get ceramic coated, so I'm not too worried about them.
And also what's good here is that you don't have... Well, you're not going to be braking too much, so brake dust and things like that from your brake pads aren't going to sort of build up as much as what you typically would have on any other car.
It was more just road grime, right, that was coming off there rather than brake dust. So yeah, I'm happy to be a bit lazy tonight and do that. But yeah,
just dress them with a bit of OG tyre dressing.
Yeah, favourite part of the process is using the OG tyre dressing. It's just the smell. And I've got some nibs to be pulling off these tyres at some point soon too. Should make you do that.
I really like this tyre dressing, and I think I might have been putting too much on.
You reckon? It goes a long way.
It goes a long way, and I think when I put it on too much, when it started to dry, like around here, it would sort of absorb into the lettering, but then I would get like this weird sort of real shining spot around the outside of the tyre lettering. And I think it's maybe because I was putting too much on, it was soaking in too much, and therefore any residual product was sort of just sitting on the outside of the tyre.
I do probably... I'd say 8 sprays for the whole tyre. Yeah. Straight into here.
Yeah.
So you're not getting it everywhere.
I think I was loading that up with too much. So I've sort of cut that back, and I don't know, I did it the other day, and I haven't seen any...
I find that if you use the right amount of product, it doesn't actually really matter if you don't come along and
for the
wipe
second
it down.
wipe.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need to remove high spots because you shouldn't have too many. So
I think I was definitely using too much of the tyre dressing on there.
Yeah. Oh well, you can have a go with this and have a play. Get the ratios right for the next wash on your car. But that's about it from the wash and talk today. So obviously we've covered a wide range of topics. But
yeah, it's been a good old yarn.
It's nice to get the first wash under the belt of this car and get familiar with it.
And we've been doing a lot of wash and talks because we've had a lot of cars to clean, you know.
We have. So we're going to try and do this on. I don't want to commit to anything, but we're washing the cars every week, so for us to get the camera out, you know, every second or third wash is not too much of an ask for us to do. So we'll try and bring you guys along the journey, but we'll carry on with these tyres. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Catch you later.